Do you ever miss the days of Windows XP and AIM? No? Okay, good. Because not even this game's story gives you much of an incentive to relive those memories. Though that doesn't mean the game's structure itself doesn't have potential. Kyle Seeley's EmilyIsAway isn't so much a visual novel as it is a hybrid between a chat simulator and an adventure game. What makes it unique is that you're literally immersed in a chat room, complete with those outdated windows, annoying sounds, blinding colors, and robotic fonts we all know and loathe. For me, the funnest moments in this game are getting all the Easter egg buddy icons by typing in certain names and reading Emily's accompanying dialogue for each one upon being first greeted by the player, as well as seeing my Steam friends being included as characters on my buddy list. Skimming through characters' profiles with all the song lyrics, bios, and relationship statuses reminded me a lot of when I was still in middle school, so that was definitely an amusing little touch. Aside from selecting your name at the start of the game, and your incredibly nostalgic buddy icon each year, you can also choose which color you'd like your text to show up in at any time. I recommend against doing this though, because all the colors except for black are painful to look at. Those are all little extras that'll probably make this game fun for you. The meat of the game, honestly, should have been left to cook a little longer. In EmilyIsAway, you're exploring your friendship and possible relationship with a girl named Emily that you've known presumably since high school. You're shown one conversation between the two of you each year, from the time you graduate from high school to the point when you're about to graduate from university, so between 2002 and 2006. Without giving anything away, this is a story that will probably interest you for about 2 playthroughs, until you realize that no matter what you do, the outcome will always be the same. Depending on how you respond to Emily, the actual endgame dialogue can vary, but the general idea of where you both stand remains the same. My problem with this is that it's too real. It's a resolution I'm sure all of us can relate to on some level, because there comes a time when we all realize how we should best react to a situation. In a sense, it's clever, but at the same time, it sucks. Because gameplay-wise, it lives in your head rent-free. Especially when you realize you have increasingly less control over how your character responds. Again, I get that it's a natural reaction we can all sympathize with. However, everyone grows from experience and might see things differently from one another, so the responses won't necessarily reflect how we would deal with the scenario. Thus, I think the game would have benefited from having at least 2 completely different endings. Then again, Emily herself isn't very likable, constantly antagonizing the player and relying on a filler-induced lexicon. Not to mention, she has a rather hollow personality that is solely tied to her interests and other people. I personally found more joy in deliberately acting like a jerk toward Emily than actually trying to get emotionally attached to her. It's rather sad, given I try not to be that type of person in real life. I try to have as much patience as I can with people and do my best to empathize with them. But I can only take so much before my perseverance slowly wears thin. That's what happened here, despite all my attempts at reasoning with this girl. Going back to what I was saying about the dialogue, you will constantly be presented with 3 choices as you're always expected to respond. You have to make a choice, but then type it out, as in pressing any keys at all to process your predetermined replies. You don't have the liberty to type in what you want, which is fine and understandable. Nevertheless, I wish you could just click on whatever choice you want and have it be quickly typed out on its own, because manually typing gets annoying after a while. It's cool at first, but it is ultimately a novelty that wears off. Much like this game. I also would have liked to see the game be expanded on more for real immersion, namely chatting with the other mentioned characters who could have an impact on your relationship with Emily. Maybe Seeley's already implemented something of the sort in his sequel, EmilyIsAway 2, which I wouldn't mind playing on Twitch sometime if you'd like. Until then, EmilyIsAway is on Steam for free. Play it twice at the most, employing different tactics both times if you're curious to see what I mean about the story. Don't waste any more time with this game after that like I did. Trust me.